When you're calibrating people for their congruent answers, their congruent speaking characteristics, their congruent discussions of their ideas to become a human lie detector, it's a good idea to ask questions, but not just drop them into the conversation. Preface them somehow as something you saw on social media. I saw this interesting question on social media. They said it's a good way to create a deep conversational connection. Would it be okay if I asked you? And get their approval, ask the question, but before you demand an answer from them, give your own answer. And while you're giving your own answer, it'll give them time to come up with their answer. Otherwise, if you just drop the question in and expect an answer, that will kind of break rapport, and that will create an incongruent answer, and you'll kind of get the muddied waters in your brain of what it's like for them to give a congruent answer. So come up with a question, and then preface the question by saying, hey, I saw this on social media. It seemed kind of interesting. It's a way to create a deep conversational connection. Would it be okay if I asked you the question? They'll probably say yes. Ask the question, give your answer first, and pay attention to them while you're giving your answer. You might have to talk for a while so they feel comfortable giving their own answer. You want to make them feel as comfortable and not on the spot as possible. And when they give their answer, ask a whole lot of questions, a whole lot of follow-up questions. The more they talk, the better. The longer they talk, the better. And when you're calibrating them, when you're calibrating their congruent energy, you're not looking for specific things like on TV when they talk about poker tells or anything. What you're doing is you're turning off your conscious mind as much as you possibly can. You're in following rapport as much as you possibly can, and you're paying attention to your own internal emotional state as you're listening to their answer, because humans are essentially resonating chambers. We kind of resonate the same emotions when we're talking to each other. So forget about looking for specific things and just relax. Pay attention to their answer, turn off your mental chatter, get into story listening mode, listen to their story, and pay attention to your own internal emotional state while you're listening to their congruent answer. Ask follow-up questions as often as you can, as long as you can. Get them talking as long as you can. The longer you get them to talk, the more you'll get a clear signal of what it means for them to speak congruently based on your own internal emotional experience as you listen to them tell their story. A first question you can ask is, what is something that you do that gets you compliments from other people? This will give them a couple of good things to think about, something they're good at, but also a lot of social approval, which both feel very good. So, hey, I saw this question on social media. They said it was a good way to create a deep connection with someone. Would it be okay if I asked you this question? Sure, go ahead. What is it that you do that gets you a lot of compliments from other people? For me, it's when I use something like Photoshop. I've been using Photoshop for a long time, and I usually do it just by myself to produce stuff for my business. But once I was in this Toastmasters club, and they needed some kind of a graphic, and they needed the graphic for their website, and I said, hey, I can do that. And I pulled out my laptop. We took a couple of quick photos. I put together this thing, and it was a really cool looking graphic, and everybody was really liked what I did. Everybody gave me a lot of compliments on my Photoshop skills. And so that's something I never really thought of, something that I'm good at, that I got a lot of compliments from other people. What about you? What is something that you do very well that other people compliment you on? And just wait for them to talk and give them plenty of time. Don't sit back and demand an answer. Ask a bunch of either or questions to help them answer. Ask a bunch of follow-up questions. And remember, the longer they talk, the more they meander while they talk, the better. Because ultimately, you're not looking for a specific answer to that question. You're looking for a congruent communication, a congruent expression of whatever they want to express. And when they're expressing that thing congruently, just relax, get into following rapport, and pay attention to your own internal energetic state as you're listening to their congruent energy. Another question you can ask is, what are you good at that you like doing? This doesn't require that you get compliments from other people. Just what are you good at that you like doing? Hey, I heard this weird question on social media. Somebody was saying this is a good way to create a deep conversational connection. Would it be okay if I asked you this question? Yeah, sure, go ahead. What is it something that you do that you enjoy doing? For me, I like to cook, and I think I'm pretty good at it. At least I'm good enough to enjoy what I eat when I cook for myself. I like to watch recipes on TikTok and YouTube. I like to try them out. I like to experiment, and it's something that I enjoy doing. And when I'm finished cooking and I know it's going to taste good, it looks good, I know it's going to taste good, it's a really, really good experience. So I like to cook. What about you? What is something that you do that you're good at that you enjoy doing? Ask a bunch of follow-up questions, either or questions. Get them talking as long as possible. If they change subjects, it doesn't matter, because you're ultimately looking for a congruent expression of something that exists inside their head, something that they're truthfully telling as honestly and congruently as they can. And while they're speaking congruently, relax, enjoy the show, become a story listener, ask questions like a little kid at story time at the library, what's happening next, and pay attention to your own internal emotional state while you're listening to them congruently speak about whatever they end up speaking about.